What's up, guys, and welcome back to Kaori's Corner. Remember, it's always suggested by you, reviewed by me. And today, we're still doing the spooky season thing, and we are talking about one of the best, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Now, if you haven't been able to find Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, it is on HBO Max now. It just got put on there literally like 2 days ago. And I am just so excited to finally see it for free somewhere. Okay, so again, if you've never seen Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, I'm questioning your childhood just a little, because where were you? Where were you when it all went down? So this came out in 1998. And the animation does not look like 1998 animation. It looks amazing, still holds up. I absolutely love the animation. The story is that Daphne and Fred have split off from the rest of the group. They were basically tired of going to all of these cases and everything being fake. So Velma had her own bookstore, and Scooby and Shaggy were kind of just like job to job because of, we know how they are. So, Daphne has a TV show. She's basically like a reporter, and her TV show is Coast to Coast with Daphne Blake, and she just kind of does all kinds of things. But she wanted to start a new segment with her show about Haunted America, where she wanted to find actual haunted places. And the very first place that they decide to go is Louisiana. Good pick, good spot. And so, they were, the TV show that she's on talking about all of this, she's like, where's the gang? She's like, we all had to go our separate ways. But she's like, I really miss them. And of course, they're all watching her in their, separate areas. And Fred gets this idea, and he decides to get them all together. And the main reason outside of her missing them is that it is her birthday. Imagine all of this going down on your birthday weekend. That is crazy. So they get together in the mystery machine. They start traveling. They get to these different places. And of course, as they're going through all of this stuff, it's still not real. And of course, she's getting a little discouraged and disappointed, and they're just like, I want to find a real haunted place. And that is where they run into a woman named Lena, who's like, oh, I work at a haunted house, like, if y'all want to come see it. They're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, of course. But of course, Fred and Velma are very, very skeptical, because of course they've been in this business a long time, since they were actual teenagers. And they're just like, it's probably some guy in a mask type thing. So they get to Moonscar Island. They take the ferry, which the ferryman Jacques is there. Jim Cummings as Jacques is like one of my favorite things. His accent, absolute music to my ears. And while they're going on the ferry and kind of just like taking it all in, the guys Scooby and Shaggy fall over into the water, and they're getting like attacked by gators almost, and they end up getting saved by Snakebite Scruggs and his attack pig. And finding out that Mark Hamill is Snakebite Scruggs, just my heart. I did not know that. I was very excited to learn that little bit of information. But we'll talk about Snakebite in a minute, though. So they get to Moonscar Island. They meet Simone. Simone has this thing with cats. She has like a shit ton of cats on this island, and it is her island. She like owns this whole island, right? And Scooby is not doing very good with cats, because of course Scooby is a dog. And so at various times they have to be separate from Scooby and Shaggy have to be separate from the rest of the gang because of the cats. A couple of times in the kitchen, and then later on they have to like eat dinner alone in the van. So Lena does her best to kind of just like make everybody comfortable, make everybody at home. And then that's when the hauntings start happening. They start seeing writing on the wall while they are recording. When they go back and play it back, there is like a ghost that is like scratching on the wall with his sword, and just like all kinds of things going on. The Scooby and Shaggy keep seeing ghosts. Scooby and Shaggy are actually the first ones to run into zombies. Morgan Moonscar. We get information on Morgan Moonscar. A little bit of information. He was a pirate, came to the island, and then of course, shit happened. And then things really start taking a turn later on in the night, around dinner. Also on the island is a gardener. His name is Bo. He's new and he has an attitude. Of course, Daphne thinks he's attractive and all kinds of other things, because Fred, of course, thinks Lena is attractive. They're complimenting each other and all this other nonsense going on. And then when the guys go eat in the van, they are, of course, being stalked by cats. So they go out further, away from the house. They run into zombies screaming. The gang leaves Lena and Simone at the house to go figure out what was going on with them. Then they hear Lena and Simone screaming because they left them alone at the house, and there are just zombies everywhere. Now, up until the point where Daphne and Fred get attacked by a zombie, Fred and Velma are very, oh, this is not real. When they do get attacked by a zombie finally, and Fred's trying to pull off his mask. He's like, it's the gardener. He's like, no. And Scooby and Shaggy are there too. So it's the four of them. The two people missing are Bo and Velma because they went to look elsewhere. And he's like, oh, it must be like an animatronic. And they're just like, no. And his head comes off. And then he's like, holy shit, it's real. And the zombie puts his head back on and starts chasing after them. They all start freaking out. Then they are all surrounded by zombies trying to get out of there. The only ones who didn't see any zombies are Bo and Velma. And the one thing that I didn't like about how they were treating Scooby and Shaggy is like every time Scooby and Shaggy came into something or ran into something or saw something, well, there's nothing here now. Duh. It's not going to be here when I tell you. So, but they all kept finding things. They kept finding things. And then Velma was finally just like, well, maybe you guys did say something. Yes, I'm not screaming for nothing. I'm not panicking for no reason. So once they all decide that all of it was real, Scooby and Shaggy, who have also been separated from the group again, find these wax voodoo dolls in this cave. And they start playing with them, which causes Velma and Daphne and Fred to levitate. Now, this happened earlier when Velma was levitating, and Fred was like, well, we've been levitated before, and there's always some kind of wire. She was like, there's no wire here. Where would there have been a wire? So they all start levitating and having no control of their body, and then that's actually when they decide to run back to the house. And Lena's there. She's like, oh, damsel in distress. Oh, the zombies came and dragged Simone down this random hallway under the stairs. And Velma's like, she was dragged away? And she's like, oh my god, yes, like they dragged her. Ugh, kicking and screaming. And Velma's just like, do you think I'm stupid? So when they finally get to the end of the cave and they see all this like ritualistic stuff, and she's just like, why don't we just ask Lena? And Fred's like, what do you mean? And Lena's got this look on her face like, oh bitch. Lena thought she was getting away with it, but Velma said, I am smarter than you. I am. But y'all are not smart enough to just not walk down the hallway. I said, all of the things happening right now in this scene are just pure white people things. Because why would you walk down the hallway where she got dragged by zombies? And she's not screaming anymore. So it's like, did they eat her? Why is it so quiet down this hallway? So we have this super quiet hallway. They walk down there and find all this ritualistic stuff, and they realize that they have been set up. And they get the voodoo doll, or the voodoo dolls that Lena and Simone have of them, like trap them up against the wall and tie them up, right? So she starts talking about what happened on Moonscar Island all that time ago. So they were a group of settlers that came to the island. They was chilling, not paying anybody any mind. and Morgan Moonscar pirates popped up because he had some treasure. Okay. And he gets to the island. They're literally celebrating. They're celebrating and they're having dinner outside. They are chilling. And Morgan Moonscar just comes up and destroys their dinner, destroys their stuff, and puts them all out in the water except for Lena and Simone, who ran a completely different direction and hid behind some trees. And they get eaten by gators. And I'm just sitting here like, you could have buried your treasure in peace. Nobody would have ever known that you were here. Because they was not paying you any attention. They didn't even know you were there. You killed all them people to bury your box. And then people wasn't paying you no attention. Then, of course, they went and invoked the wrath of the cat god that they worshipped, and they were cursed. They killed all of the pirates, and then in turn stayed cursed. So then after that, some other settlers came. They started the chili pepper plantation, and then everything was good up until the harvest moon, where these two women decided to kill all of them. Okay, and so they have to like get people to come to the island every harvest moon, like lure them there so that they can drain them of their life so that they can continue to live. And they gave Jacques immortality because he wanted it. When Jacques turned into a fucking cat creature, I almost had a heart attack when I first saw it, because I was like, what the fuck? This is real shit. So then, of course, when they started turning into cat creatures, it was just all bad. But the zombies, who are people that they killed, mind you, they killed a pregnant lady. The zombies, who are people that they just killed, like, are trying to get their revenge. And I guess this is like a thing that happens, is that they continuously do this every harvest moon. The zombies rise up and then they just get killed by the cat creatures and return back until like the next harvest moon, you know? So all of this stuff happening, Scooby and Shaggy try to assist. She almost drains Shaggy and Scooby, but they're able to avoid all of that. And so of course we have our like regular have to do chase scenes, and they end up dying so violently at the end of it. I was just like, my goodness. I said it last night when I was sitting there watching. I was like, my goodness, they died so violently. Like their skin and fur just exploded off of their bones, and then they just died. I was like, oh. The zombies dying was not better. The dead rotting skin just fell off like a skin suit off of the bones, and then their souls went free. And then of course the Confederate soldier that Shaggy had initially saw had said something like, was like, thank you to Scooby. And then it turns out that Bo was actually an undercover officer trying to figure out what the hell was going on this island with all the people disappearing. And Velma got her flirt on, of course, with, you know, oh, I own my own detective bookstore. So, mystery bookstore, sorry. So 10 out of 10, the music, top tier, the acting, amazing, the animation, fire. Like, the story was so good. And there are so many Scooby-Doo movies at this point. And if I had to do a like top 5, I would do Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, and Scooby-Doo, it's not the Abracadabra one, I think it's like the one in the Outback with the Hex Girls came back. It would be that one. That one is like the only other one outside, actually, you know, nope, it would be Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. I actually really like that one. And then the one with the Hex Girls, like the second one with the Hex Girls where they come out into the Outback. I think those two can be like alternated for number 5. But yeah, 10 out of 10. 10s across the board. No notes. Nothing wrong with this one at all. Again, it is on HBO Max. Please go watch it if you haven't. If it's been a while since you've seen it, watch it again. I'm going to watch it probably about 10-12 times before they take it off HBO Max again. So that is it for this episode of Kaori's Corner. Remember, it's always suggested by you, reviewed by me. Bye.